Hi there, I'm Carl, and welcome to What's on Your Mind. The program is produced by Break Tru TV right here in Birmingham. The program is also self explanatory. Before I go into what's on my mind, let me have a look at a few of the headlines that's around the world over the last couple of days. So, let me go to say South Africa. Zulu Queen dies months after just taking office. Her Majesty Queen Mantaphome B dies the age of 65. USA start formally to withdraw troops from Afghanistan. They have been in Afghanistan for almost 20 years. In Mexico, at least 23 people have died when an overpass split a train in two. Quite a few people are also in hospital. China, at least 11 people has also died. 102 has been in hospital after a violent storm affected East China. Trinidad and Tobago. A Windrush man, Richard Black, after being stranded in the Caribbean islands for almost 38 years, is all set to return to the UK. And I think he actually says there's going to be some changes, and we'll have to see how that takes place. Jamaica. Education Minister Favour Williams has said students who has been expelled from public school should be engaged in virtual education and should not be locked out of the system. The UK police receive reports of sex offence following allegation against actor Noel Clarke. Noel Clarke has not been charged with any offence. We'll have to wait and see what is happening there, how that one is going to actually churn out. Entertainment. Lila Ike makes a huge jump on the USA reggae chart. Her EP Experience has moved from 33 to number 19. So Lila Ike is doing very well. A young lady from Christiana, Jamaica. Marvelous. Also, Sean Paul's new album has hit the streets. And in an interview, Sean Paul has said that he is disgusted with some of the lyrics that are in some of the songs by different artists. He says you can go in hard, but sometimes some of these artists, they're talking about people's mother. They're talking about people's kids. They're talking a whole heap of derogatory language which should not be used. And I have to say this. I hope somebody sort of listen to Sean Paul, because a lot of this is out there at the moment and it's so negative and so derogative. And I wonder where we're gonna go with this, you know what I mean? Or is it just for the views? Is it just about the views, you know what I mean? Take it for instance, if I was to sing a song that says, "Oh, I really love you," in a girl, probably I get 2 views. But if I says, "I really bleep," gotta bleep it out. You see what I'm saying? If I really, I'll probably get more views. I wonder. I wonder. It's not funny, but it is a very, very serious thing. So let me look at sports, motor racing. Lewis Hamilton has won the Portuguese F1 Grand Prix. Yes. He finished top of the pole again. And it was a fantastic race because he actually beat 2 of his rivals, Max Verstappen and also Bottas. And there is a suggestion in social media and all the different places that Butter's times may be coming to a close. That's just on social media because Butter's car is very good. He drives a very, very good car. And he should be actually finishing in, say, I'd say he should be finishing most of the time in second place because he's got a good car. But minimum, he should be actually finishing in third place. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he's coming to his time because there's a young guy there. Everybody's talking about this young guy called Russell. And you know, Russell, we see how that sort of develop, you know, with Russell, because Russell is about to become Lewis Hamilton teammate at Mercedes. We'll wait and see. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Break Tru TV at gmail.com. So, my rant. That's what's on my mind. Oh dear me, what's on my mind? I gotta tell you, there's a lot of stuff on my mind. But I gotta get my laughing out now. If I don't get my laughing out now, because what I'm going to talk about is a very serious matter. So I gotta do my laughing now before I go into my rant. What's on my mind? What's on my mind? It has affected our society. It has affected the way we live. It's affected our schools. It has affected the police force. It has affected our hospitals. Yeah? What am I talking about? I know you're thinking very deep. Let me get comfortable. I am comfortable. I know you're thinking very deep. What's on my mind is bad parents. Bad parents who are what I call providers. Yeah. Because bad parents are what you call providers. They provide everything for their children. And remember, some of us live in glass house, and some of us live in slightly glass house, so I'm not gonna, nobody's perfect. Let me get that clear. But bad parents, as I say, bad parenting has affected so many things over the period of time. Parents who don't, listen, set the rules down for your children. Certain things you cannot do. And you have to start when you're very, very young, when your children are very, very young. It's no use starting when they're in their teens. And nobody's looked at this. I mean, I'm no expert. Nobody's looked at this. And nobody say, you have to do this when the children are very, very young. By the time they reach 10, 11, 12, it's too late because they have already developed. You have to stop sort of giving them all these things in their bedroom while they're looking at games, looking at laptops, looking at sexual pictures. Yes, I've said it. That's what I've said. They're looking at things that they shouldn't be looking at that particular age. And it develops and turns on our society because all these bad habits they're developing, it's only coming to reflect on society. That's what it does. And that's nobody's ever sort of talk about this. Maybe a lot of people are frightened of saying bad parents, but don't get me wrong, there's good parents out there as well whose children do naughty things. And there's bad parents out there whose children do good things. Yes. But there's also parents who don't leave the children to do what they like. The children set the rules. They're frightened of their children. They're frightened of telling their children what to do. And I know one particular time there's some particular time that I know some parents says, well, if I talk too heavy to my child or if I put the rules down, the children is gonna call the police, and the police is gonna come to the house and all that. Yes, I know that sometimes is in the pipeline, but the rule has to be set, because if the rule don't set, your children grow up and they affect society big time. And I think that is part of the problem. That is what's happening to our society these days. Because some of these parents are bad. They go out, they drink, they drugs, they do all kind of stuff. And they have children. They take all that sort of stuff home and their children get involved in it. Guns, stealing, attacking other people, bad parenting. Not totally, but some of it's got a lot to do with bad parenting. And sometimes you think, oh, what is he saying? What is he saying? He's saying it's common sense. Common sense. If you don't teach your child to do the right thing when they're very, very young, if you, spare the rod and spoil the child, that's what happens. That's what happens. And I say, I'm not the expert. I'm sure there's very well-educated people out there who this field is their subject. So they can actually deal with stuff like that. They should know more. But bad parenting has to be one of the things that affects our society. Yes? And it's no use you say, oh, my child is this and my child is that. When your child is wrong, tell them they're wrong. Tell them they've done something wrong. And it's no use if you see somebody and say, my child has done such a wrong thing, and they say, your child has done something to somebody else. Listen to what the person has to say before you go negative on the person, or before, you go, my child wouldn't do that, I'm going to thump you out. And all kind of rubbish. You can't live like that. You can't live like that because it flows onto society and affects society big time. It affects, it affects the police, it affects everybody in general. So parents, some of you parents, you need to fix up and think, are you a good parent or are you a bad parent? Because things are not getting any easier. And all your child grew up, he goes into a man with the same attitude. And I'm not saying to sort of beat your children, you know what I mean? Or do this to your children. I'm not going to say beating your children because I don't sort of really believe in that in myself, even though I had my share of licks. Well, to see what kind of person I am. I'm here talking in front of you, so it never really sort of affected me. But I know some relationship where the parents can sort of be very violent, which I don't totally support. That's ridiculous, you know what I mean? But because if you do that sort of thing, it reflects on that child, and that child go up with the same idea of being violent to other people. He may be violent to his partner, and he may be violent to his lover, or he may be violent to all the other people that he meets. So I'm not going down that road at all. But you just got to talk and work the problem out, whatever it is, whatever you have to do, and deal with it. Because it is not good, and it's one of the main, my rant, that's why I'm ranting about it. It's one of the main things that I think that has affected our whole society, and nobody has ever stand up and says, well, this is this, or this is that, or that is it. Then maybe people are frightened and say, well, I can't say that to a parents. It's a parents, isn't it? It's the parents' child. I can't say that to her or him. And it's the same thing. It's not just one parent. I'm not being one parent. It's both parents. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bring one set of parents or one person of parents. Oh, it's a whole. It's take two. It does take two. And I know people's gonna say, "Oh, I'm from a broken family because such and such a thing because this happens and that happens." I'm not talking about that. And people are gonna say different things. Oh, this didn't this. I'm poor. Listen, I was poor. I was born poor. I'm still poor. I'm still poor. Stop talking about yourself, Carl. I'm still poor. But because being poor or being what you call underprivileged doesn't make you be a bad person. It doesn't make you turn into violence. You have to be able to get those rules or those sort of stuff in the very, very early stage before you become a nuisance to society. And when you see all these children grow up into men, and they ended up doing different things, they ended up in crime, they ended up with the police, they end up in prison. It is part of the system that their parents never got control of them when they was very young and teach them the golden rules. Yeah. What do you think? I know. What do you think? Well, it's a reality. It is a reality. It's you can't you can't say. And I mean people children will do things, and then the parents support them. You know what I mean? We talk about gun crime. We talk about gun crime where big even teenagers doing gun crime now. Some of you mothers, where's your children? Where do you know where your children is? Or when they come home and say they'll do something, do you hide it? Oh, you never really do that. I never really mean to do that. Do you hide it? Do you really hide it? Instead of, instead of, I'm not saying you should grass on your children, but what do you do? Do you hide it? Or do you make the child know you shouldn't be doing that sort of stuff at your age, you know what I mean? And they get involved in drugs, or they get involved in all different things. Do you hide it? Or do you put the rules down and says, you know what I mean? You have to work these things out because it says it has affected, there's a lot of things affected our society, but that has also affected our society. And it is not very good thing, you know what I mean? It's not a good thing. So 07872443765. I will take your call and let me know what you think about that. Don't forget, as I say, to like, share, and subscribe. Now, my next little rant. I'm going to rant again, you know. my next little rant. I'm going to be known as the ranter. My next little rant. So, oh dear me. Now, does anybody remember who Derek Chauvin is? Derek Chauvin. Yeah? The murderer who killed Mr. George Floyd. Derek Chauvin and his attorney are saying that his constitution yeah, I can't even his constitution, his American rights was destroyed. So his American rights was destroyed when he went to prison. So, if he has been found not guilty, his rights wouldn't have been, his rights wouldn't have been, wouldn't have been wrong, was it? But because he's in prison now, he's complaining about his constitutional rights. America, America! Can you believe it? Now, I don't think he's going to come out very soon. But if he starts playing around with this, and his lawyers or his attorney start playing around with this, I guarantee you they're going to continue and continue and continue. Say it again, Carl, and continue for the next couple of years. And in about 9 years' time, we'll hear he's having a retrial because that's what he wants. He wants a retrial. Why does he want a retrial? Why would you want to retry somebody like that? We all see what he done. And I've ranted about this in another show. I wasn't meaning to rant about this, but this came up in the news a couple of days ago. So, we'll see what he's done. We know what he's done. So, why does he want a retrial? I don't get it. Why does he want a retrial? Everybody see the thing on the television. When the man kneel for the man's neck. I think in another statement I said stand, but it's the same thing to me. Stand or kneel makes no difference. So why should he be retried? I don't know. I really don't know why he should be retried again. So, I'm hoping the American justice system will keep it where it is. Then again, I know some other people are going to say to me, well, the American justice system can work this way as well, you know. Oh, so that is another part of my rant. The other thing I've also noticed that I've noticed the right-wing groups has been getting more and more and more and more. It seems like in the lockdown, they've actually been emerging more. They've been talking online. They've been doing a lot of things. And they seems to be getting more and more and more. They're congregating more. And I wonder what is going to happen in the future. Because you would have thought by now we'd see a decline in that sort of behavior. But it's not declining. I mean, I probably won't be around to see it. And this is in the UK. I'm not even stepping out of the UK, where it's bad in parts of Europe, and and even in the United States. This is in the UK I'm talking about. So I'm not even stepping out of the UK. So it's one of those ones that I don't know what is gonna happen. Let me know what you think. Don't forget you can pick up the phone and give us a call. Yeah. And I would love to hear what you have to say. 07872443765. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I? I don't mind saying if you think I'm wrong. I don't mind taking the criticism, because if I'm here, I have to be able to take criticism. So, what do you think? Am I wrong, or am I right? Yeah, I don't know. But it seems to be getting to be more troubling and troubling and troubling. As I say, you would thought things like that would be, way back now. But it seems to be on the merge. And as I say, a lot of them have been congregating in the lockdown. And I don't know how that is going to go. I'm expecting somebody to call on the phone, possibly any second now. So, as I say, the program, as I say, is produced by Break Tru TV. And don't forget, you can like, share, and subscribe to the program. And you can also, if you wish, you can also take part in the program as well. You can also take part in the program with whatever you want to talk about. You hear what some of the stuff I rant about. You can come and rant whatever you want to talk about. Yeah, and you can always come and rant. You know what I mean? You can always come and talk and hear what you have to say, and you don't have to rant about what I've rant. You can rant about all different things, whatever you want to rant about. I've got my caller on the line, and she's gonna have a little rant and tell me, how are you? Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me loud?
Yes, I can.
Can you see me as well?
Sorry?
Can you see me as well? I said, can you hear me? Hello?
Can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. I can hear you well. And how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Can you tell me your name, please?
My name's Andrea Maynard Bray.
Okay. Good afternoon, Andrea. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to What's on Your Mind.
And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, can you tell me what's on your mind, or what do you do? Let's start with what do you do?
Well, I work with women who suffer domestic abuse.
Okay. And
Today I've decided to talk a bit about what's domestic abuse, because I find that domestic abuse has been rampant and been continuing for years and years. And even though they have these new bills and everything coming out, we need to start looking at ways of dealing with things in a practical and more simple way.
yeah.
Things are just too long-winded.
Yeah. And do you think And do you think it has got worse within the
Sorry?
do you think it has got worse within the lockdown?
Yes, it definitely has got worse in the lockdown
Yeah.
because they've had um, a lot more phone calls, a lot more recorded abuse that's been going on since the lockdown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so it has because obviously you're locked in a house, really, with a lot of women being locked in houses with abusers.
Okay. Right. So let me ask you then. What is domestic violence?
Sorry?
What is domestic violence?
Well, domestic violence is violence and aggressive behaviour, really. It's a form of abuse. And majority of the time it happens within the homes. What it can be defined really as like an incident or pattern of incidents of controlling, threatening, degrading, violent behaviour, like you can include with that sexual violence
Yeah.
from partners, ex-partners, family members and carers. Um, it's very common, obviously, with women, and the perpetrators are normally men. Not saying that men aren't being abused because they are, So it can be anything from physical abuse, psychological, emotional, sexual,
Yeah.
financial, economic harassment. It can be stalking, or
Yeah.
even like digital online abuse, because sometimes, you get texts
Mm-hmm.
and then on like Facebook and stuff like that, social media, you can get that sort of abuse online as well.
Yeah. And I was gonna ask you, who's mainly affected by it? Who's mainly? Is it mainly women?
Mainly women, because even from the last records we've had, year ending March 2009, 2.4 million.
Yeah, I have seen those. I have actually seen those figures beyond belief.
Yeah,
I did do my research.
on
I
TV.
did do my research.
Sorry?
I did do my research. I actually see those figures as well. Yeah.
Say that again, sorry.
I says I did do my research. I've actually seen those figures. The figures quite high.
Oh, you've seen the figures,
I
yeah.
have seen the figures. Yeah.
And it can age anything between
16 and 74 or something like that. Yeah.
be older. But, but then also a lot of abuse is not even recorded because some people, they suffer in silence and rather not say.
Yeah.
Or, so a lot of those may not be recorded.
Mhm. Mhm.
But, we do have, as we know, men do suffer as well.
Yeah.
So that is also rising. But, most of the resources out there are mainly for women, but now they're looking at the men because they do need supporting as well.
Okay. Okay. That's marvelous. And let me ask you the $64 million question then, or the $64 million pound. The $64 million pound, because we use pound in the UK. Have you ever been affected by domestic violence?
Yes, I have. I've suffered domestic abuse for 13 years. From
Serious.
the age of 18,
Mm-hmm.
really, till I was nearly 30, I think, yeah. Yeah, 30 with my children's father. I ended up having 3 children for him.
Yeah.
But that's how I suffered abuse for 13 years.
Was you in a controlled environment? The next question I'm gonna ask you, how did you get out of it? Was you in a controlling environment?
Well, in the end, yeah. Well, in the end, yes. How I got out of it in the end is because I forced help, and I ended up having to go and get an injunction because even though we lived together and I moved away with the children when I was having my second child, when I moved away from him, then he started coming to that address, and sometimes just to save the peace, I just allowed him to see the children and tried to be amicable, but that didn't really help my situation when it was time to go and he didn't want to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
So eventually, after some time, I had to end up getting an injunction out on him, and that's what ended up stopping him from coming because 6 months, he had 1 to 6 months, and then he started behaving badly again, and the abuse started again. Even though he couldn't come in the house, he would break the air off my car or kick my car or do something
My
to
days.
aggravate me, and then I had to take it out again, and then after that, then that's when it all calmed down.
Yeah.
And then plus he was working, doing support himself, believe it or not. He was in that environment that, really, if he got locked up for anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
obviously he would have lost his job.
Oh dear me. And how you come out? How have you come out now? Have you? I mean, like how do you feel now getting away from all that sort of stuff? You know what I mean? How do you manage to sort of to get your strengths or gather your strengths and sort of
How I ended up getting my strength back, to tell you the truth,
mm-hmm.
I started obviously changing my mindset, and I started going to college.
Yeah.
Started, I went back doing my business. I was doing business, my BTEC National.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then I did hairdressing because I wanted to start my own business.
Okay.
So then I did hairdressing, then eventually I did therapies, complementary therapies, because I had to learn to heal myself. So getting out the house
Yeah.
was the thing to help me see that he's not the only man around, or there's other people out there who are kind and who will look after and who will listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously I started reading books like Yolanda Van Zandt, watching Oprah Winfrey shows,
Yeah.
reading positive books, positive affirmations and stuff like that. Because back in those days,
Yeah.
because we're going back 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't as much help out there as there is now.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was self-help because, the counselling and stuff like that, we didn't really know a lot about that
Yeah. Yeah.
around
Yeah.
those times.
Mm-hmm.
So you really had to heal yourself. And that's what I did,
Yeah.
to get myself up, again, back my strength.
And what would you say to women or even men if they're in domestic violence? How do they? What do they do? Hello. Hello. Hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just saying, what
Can you
would?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just saying, what would you say to women or men who's in that sort of situation? What should they do?
Well, what they should do is
Yeah. I can hear you.
for a long time, I didn't say anything to anyone when I was going through it. I always felt someone
Yeah.
would help.
Uh-huh.
They organized please,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I've got some information on you that you have written a book.
yes, yes, the book called Suffering in Silence.
Suffering in
the 13th of March.
and
And
it's
yeah,
out. What do you say? It's out.
it came out on
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Think
and what I
think we're having slightly bit of issue with the line. You were saying. You were saying.
was saying,
Yeah.
I wrote my book really to suffer in silence. I encourage people to help
Yeah.
suffer in silence. Just to show you have a voice and you can say, because there's a lot of women out there who are going through the same thing. So reading the book or writing the book also will help you to heal, but also will show other women that not only you, you're not the only one that's going through this. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can get yourself.
And what is the book called again? Suffer in Silence.
It's called Suffering
Okay.
by Andrew Brain.
Yeah. 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 And are you planning to write another book?
It's not between the court and comedy. 10 women writers about their stories now. Within a which is called Five Queens.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah,
great.
and that is due to
Okay. Okay. And how do you see the future?
help other women, help myself, and now trying to help
Uh,
to
uh,
control this.
okay. And how do you see things in the future?
Oh, well, the future's looking bright, you know. Continue doing some more writing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very much into health and well-being, so I'm looking to do something around that as well.
Health.
But I'm very much into health and wealth. And, you know, I'm also trying to do more really to help other women and myself to,
Okay.
you know, gain their own finances as well, because it's something a lot of women are suffering financially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need to tell them about it.
And are you belong you you belong to any organization?
Well, well, not organization. It's hard enough. I set up some years ago. I'm very healthy training and health and well-being around women, because I always have a view, no matter what you're going through, you've got to look at yourself.
Yeah.
Self-care is the main thing. Because in the mind, for you to extract yourself into this. So you need to, whether it's you're eating something simple, you know, walking, you can go to exercise, you know, meditation, yoga, you know, you can also, you know, affirmations as well. You can say to yourself,
Yeah. 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 So what do you do to keep fit? Because everybody like to keep fit these days, don't they? What do you do to keep fit?
well, I do walk, I do swim.
You do walk.
A lot of today shelters the homeless. So
Oh,
I
oh, you
do 100 squats a day. So
so you do 100 squats a day. That's marvelous. That's very good. That's very good. I myself, I like to jog. I run a lot. I walk a lot as well. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's
It's one of the best exercises.
yeah,
This is one of the best ones because, you know,
yeah. I do sort of love my running and my jogging. I mean,
okay.
I I also like to swim a lot. I haven't been swimming for quite some years. You know, because of I'm a little bit paranoid about the swimming thing. Especially in COVID time, you know. So, because you can only go into pools, can't you? Hello, hello, hello. To my listener, the line has gone a bit, you know, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the line. So we're gonna try and fix it, yeah. So there we have Andrea Maynard Bride, and it says she writes a book on domestic violence, and actually you need to check it out. You know, I mean, wonderful lady. So we're gonna try and get her back on the line. And are you still there?
Is that better for you like that?
That is better. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fine.
Okay, carry on now. I can hear you nice and clear. Yeah. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly.
Good. Yeah, carry on. What we were saying now.
You were talking about you're a jogger.
Yeah, I said jogger. I didn't say blogger.
No, I know you said
I know, I'm joking. I'm joking. Listen, I wouldn't be me if I don't have a joke. I wouldn't be me if I didn't have a joke and a laugh. You know what I mean? So I wasn't clearly about why. You need to tell me the name of your book again because I can hear you not clear it on. We need to get it over to the audience.
Okay.
You know.
My book is called Suffering in Silence
Yes.
by Andrea Maynard Braid.
Okay, marvelous, marvelous. Yeah, that's come out loud and clear now. You see, so you really sell yourself there. How long did it take you to write the book?
Well, eventually it took me about 4 years in the end.
Was
Because
it?
time I started, you know, other things come, you know, you're going through other things. So
Yeah.
sometimes I write a bit, I put it down, wrote a bit, put it down, you know, and then I didn't want to do it, then I wanted to do it, and then eventually my editor, Maureen Worrell,
Yeah.
she was really the one that kind of pushed me, said, come on, we've got to do this now. So I just went full on, and we just had a launch date that we knew we were going to launch the book and worked backwards.
And,
So
and, and was just drawn. Was this drawn from your own experience?
the book was drawn from my own experience, because I wrote the book really to break the generational cycle that was going to the violence through my family, because I grew up with my mom going through abuse with my father,
Yeah.
and then obviously then I went through abuse, then my daughter went through it, and I've got
Serious.
two granddaughters,
Mhm.
and I don't want to see my granddaughters go through any of this. So that was one of the reasons why I wrote the book as well,
Yeah.
because I want to break, well, they say break the curse,
Yeah.
break the cycle
Yeah.
of what's happening. And Suffering in Silence is a story of hope and
Yeah.
inner healing and recovery and empowerment,
That's
so that you
that's
can overcome life challenges.
that's marvelous. And I need to get this clear because I think the line was a bit funny when I asked you. Strange. Where can we find your book?
Well, you can get my book on Amazon,
Yeah.
or you can get my book on Suffering in Silence. Where is it? Suffering in Silence online.
Mhm.
So you've got Suffering in Silence online.
Oh.
Yeah, just online.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
it there as well. You'll get the link there as well.
That's marvelous. Marvelous. And where can people sort of get help? You know what I mean? Where can people get help?
Well, like I said, there's you can get help from there's Women's Aids and other organisations that's around.
Yeah.
There's quite a few organisations, to name a few. You've got Refuge, you've got Women's Aid. You can if you can't get through to those, you've got Salvation Army. You've also got like the police. You can go to the police because they have special officers now that will help with the domestic abuse.
Yeah.
And then there's independent organisations as well. Small organisations, and also individuals who's been through it, and they're working with women suffering through domestic abuse. Speak to them as well. They can help you. And as I said, always speak to someone. Tell someone what you're going through, because as I said, if anything happens, no one's gonna know it's this person.
But what?
Because as I said, we suffer in silence. Hence why I gave that this book the title.
But what would you say if they say I'm frightened, I'm terrified? How do you
That's it. A lot of people are frightened and they are terrified about saying anything, because the perpetrator will find out to be more detrimental to them.
That's
but
right.
As I said, there's organisations who can put them in safe houses and a safe place to stay. So there's not a lot to worry about, because you can get help.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was in it for 13 years, because it is hard sometimes when you've got children. You just want to try and keep your family together.
Mm-hmm.
You're hoping that, the person who you fell in love with is that person, can that person be that person again?
Yeah.
Because obviously when you meet someone, you don't know that.
That's true. That's true.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because when it first starts, it's not about abuse. It's about love.
Yeah.
And then abuse changes your relationship.
Yeah. People.
Changes your feelings.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for a woman to get up and just lose so easy, especially when she's got children as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she's depending on that person. He may be the breadwinner. She may be the housewife.
Mm-hmm.
Financially she has nothing.
Yeah.
But when, if she has to go, they will help her with her accommodation. They will help her to to how to get money and stuff like that. So because there are sources out there that can help the government, where they can get you money that can help you as well. So there's nothing too much to be fearful of. Okay, there's some that got houses together, and and they've got to think, I've got to split this, and that's going to be traumatic to be going through this, breaking up the whole family home. So the majority have tried to stay to put things right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Now, I'm gonna ask you the 500 million pound question. Because we don't deal in dollars in the UK, do we?
Okay.
And we are living, and we are, five.
Am I going to win that money? Am I going to win that?
Do you do the lottery?
Do I do the lottery? I do sometimes.
Do you,
Yeah.
well, you have to do it all the time because if you're not in it, you can't win it.
Well, that's it. You got to be in it.
You
to
got to
win
be in it. You got to be. you got to be in it to win it.
Well, that's right.
If you're not in it, I tried it. I've never win it. I gotta tell you before let me answer the $64 billion question before let me leave the jokes for a while.
Okay.
Now, how do we stop it? How do we stop it?
How do we stop it?
Yeah, because
Oh
there's
my
a
gosh.
there's a where, there's a why, and there's a how in it.
Yeah, but
And there's a when.
They do have training.
Yeah.
They do have training. They do have awareness programs. You know, as I said, the question, how do you stop it? I think we need to start looking at healthy relationships from a young age.
Yeah.
So we need to go into the schools, training these children what is a healthy relationship. A lot of them will recognize that the homes they're living in is
Yeah.
not healthy. You understand?
I understand.
Children even see a lot of abuse, but they'll never go to school and say, my mom and dad, or my dad's beating my mom, because they keep it quiet as well. But I think we need to start from a young age.
Yeah, I totally
Because
agree.
remember, what children learn
Yeah,
is what they see.
that's
You
right.
understand? It's learned behavior. So, however a parent behaves within the home, majority of the time, that's what
The child will take on that.
digest.
If you was watching my
So
rant,
a lot of the times the sons become abusers, perpetrators.
if you was watching my rant, you would have heard me ranting about similar things, about the children and in the home and all the rest of it. If you was, if you was listening to,
Because it does affect the children.
yeah,
You know, and we know it does affect the children. So that is one of the things. I think we've got to start from a young age, because when we get to a point with a lot of with the training, and a lot of these women or perpetrators are immune to whatever they're going through. Sometimes it's so hard to change them. You know, it has to come from a change mindset from the women, because real change starts with you. You know, and that's how I found with myself. You know.
yeah.
And you know, and always I would say to the women, you know, you got to find something you want to do in life, really, and just try and follow your purpose. You know, and fulfill some dreams that you have, because a lot of women never, ever get to do what they want because of the life they're living through abuse.
Yeah.
And if they're passionate, if they've got that passion within them enough to want to do it, they will say, "This is not good for me. I need to come out of this." You know.
I understand. Have you ever met any men who's actually been in domestic violence?
Someone spoke. Yeah, a couple of them have spoken to me that they have been abused, because you know, I'm hoping to maybe do a Zoom or something soon with the men and the women. You know, because sometimes, but you know, it would be good if you can get some perpetrators with you women, because that's the conversation that needs to be had. You know, why did you do it?
Yeah.
You know, some of them may not even know why they did it or why they behaved like that. But some of those conversations need to be had, you know, because they have to see how that woman was feeling, you know, what she actually went through, you know. But a lot of men themselves were abused, were neglected, went through trauma, and they never really healed their own demons. You understand? So they become the demon and behave badly.
And I was saying earlier on, do you think some of that may have come from some of their harsh growing up as kids, you know? Because some parents can be very, very tough on their children.
That's correct.
You know?
Because remember, as we know, back in the days, how our parents would beat us for the slightest little thing.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the children, a lot of us were traumatized.
Yeah.
You understand?
I understand.
What we went through.
I understand.
From our parents.
I understand.
You know?
I do understand. I mean, I looked at it. I studied this once, and I thought I should just get it into my head that basically, which one of the thing I always thought is that when we're back in the day, the generation was actually, you know, beating you. Then let's say beating you.
Yeah.
One other thing I've always thought about is that the fact that there's nothing wrong in putting the rules down, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm all for putting the rules down. But one other thing I've actually studied in my head over the years is that when they was beating you, they was angry. So
Yeah.
it's like they was
Yeah.
pushing out their own anger
Mhm.
at you. You know what I mean? It's not. You know, they would say it was discipline, but it's just the angriness. You know. And I think there's a difference. You could say, well,
Yeah.
you could say
A lot of these men were
yeah,
broken men, as
yeah,
you said, as well, from their parenting, from their when they were young, when they were growing up. As I said, a lot of them they never had counselling. They never tried to deal with what they went through themselves.
yeah,
So they will bring that into another relationship
yeah,
because
yeah,
they will have the triggers and they then become themselves. No matter how you want to put that front up, you can put that front up as much as you want, but that real person will always come out. That real person will always shine through.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because they might have had bad examples of fathers themselves,
yeah.
so they didn't even know how to father themselves. You understand?
Yeah, I do understand. I do understand. I do understand. I do understand.
And as I said, they're just broken, and who's gonna fix them? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. It's that's that's one of those ones, isn't it? That's one of those ones you don't know what the answer to fix them. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
a lot of that, I said,
yeah.
a lot of them not gonna come forward to you know what
Well,
I
they,
mean?
they won't, they
And
won't,
and they
and
go and they
and
go
then they bring this toxic energy
yeah, and they go around.
around them,
I'm tough. I'm
within
this.
the
I'm that.
home.
I'm tough, and
Yeah,
they will do it to women, or you know what I mean. I know
yeah,
there's two people in both men and women commit with domestic violence, but I know they'll do it to women. They say the man will do it to women with this tough, big attitude, and they'll go out there and they'll do it to their friend,
yeah.
so-called other
Because,
people.
yeah, because what they do, they internalize their own pain, their
Yeah,
anger,
yeah,
and then when something triggers them, they lash out at you. You know,
I
and
understand.
a lot of them then they're out there just destroying the family, destroying women. Because when the main one for the household, you destroy the women, you're destroying your children. And a lot of men, I find that they're not even bothered about their behavior, how it affects the children, where a lot of the time the mother is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, that, I don't know, it's just, sometimes when you're talking about it, that angriness that's within them,
Yeah,
they don't know how to deal with it, because they're just self-consumed, they're just dysfunctional,
oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
that's the problem.
yeah,
How do you deal? That's another way. How do you deal with the men? That's what I said. Start from schools,
yeah,
healthy
yeah,
relationships. Teach these young boys, young girls, what's a healthy relationship. And then from an early age, we can find out maybe what's within them to help them.
yeah.
We may
Thank
have
you.
to bring more counselors in school or whatever. I don't know, but we've
Okay.
been dealing with the elders. Like say our age, you could say 20 odd, 30s, 40s,
Yeah,
and we've got programs, we've got all these things that we participate in,
yeah, yeah.
but
I understand. Listen,
there's still that trigger sometimes in your head. You
thank
need
you,
to
thank
get
you.
their mindset in a place from they are young.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's marvelous, marvelous. My time is coming to an end, so we have to be
Right?
ending the program. You know what I mean? Let me say
Okay.
let me say thank you for taking part. And how do you feel about taking part in the show?
I feel fine. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm getting used to getting on a few Zooms and stuff now. So
Yeah,
obviously being on this show is fine because it's a subject that um, is dear to my heart. Because I've been there, done it, worn the T-shirt, overcame it. Now out there helping others. And I don't know whether it will ever be eradicated,
okay.
but
Yeah.
all we can do is try our best to
Okay.
try and help each other and be kind and sharing and caring and loving with each other.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me say we can do this again. So if you ever want to do this again, we can do it again, yeah?
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we probably we'll probably you know we'll probably use the Zoom next, maybe. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you ever wanted to do this again, let us know, right? And get in touch.
Mhm.
Well, let me say thank you for taking part in the show. Let me say maximum respect. You've come a long way, and
Thank you very much.
thank you very much. And let me say thank you. Have a good night. God bless you.
And yourself. And
Take
thank you for
care.
having
Look
me.
after yourself.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Well, thanks to Andrea Maynard Braid there. We say a woman with a lot of experience and some of the terrible stuff she has gone through, and she's come through with flying colors. She's wrote a book, and she's done very well. And we are glad to have her on our show. And don't forget, if you wish to take part in our show, you can give us a call on 07872 443 765. The program is sponsored by the ACMC Center, New Style Radio, 98.7 FM, the Reggae Jam Jerk Center, Break Tru TV at gmail.com. And if you wish, as I say, to take part in the show, you can email us at breaktrutv at gmail.com. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. My time has come to an end. Let me say thank you for tuning in to What's on Your Mind. We'll be back here next week. Same time, same place, all being well. God bless you. Take care.